Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something truly fascinating, something that literally transforms organizations into dynamic, unstoppable learning engines. We're looking closely at Principle 13 of the Toyota Way. Focus the improvement energy of your people through aligned goals at all levels. I'm incredibly excited to walk you through this one, mainly because it completely flips traditional management right on its head, and it shows us how to actually connect that big picture strategy with daily on-the-ground execution.
Okay, let's kick things off with a question that baffles executives every single day. Why do so many brilliant corporate strategies just completely fail at the front lines? I mean, you've got these incredibly smart people at the top making these elaborate 5-year plans, but by the time those plans trickle down to the factory floor or the customer service desk, it's often just a total mess. Well, the answer really lies in how goals are communicated and aligned, or actually, more accurately, how they aren't.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the executive iceberg illusion, and the very real danger of top-down control.
So, there's this former Volvo CEO, a guy named Gudmundsson, and he popularized this brilliant concept that we can call the executive iceberg. He realized the massive danger of what's called a mechanistic view. This is where executives sit comfortably at the absolute peak of the organization, issuing these rigid plans, and they only see the results that rise above the water level, the big numbers on the balance sheet. But they're completely ignoring the massive, incredibly complex reality happening below the surface. Now contrast that with the organic view. Over here, leadership isn't about dictating at all. It's about coaching. The organization becomes highly adaptable, and everyone, literally from top to bottom, is deeply connected through interlocking goals.
Which brings us to Section 2, introducing Hoshin kanri, or policy deployment.
So what's the fix? How do we make this organic shift? Well, the solution lies in a powerful paradigm pioneered by Toyota called Hoshin kanri, which basically translates to policy deployment. At its core, it's an annual process of working together toward a vision and strategy through aligned goals and daily management. But here's the thing you have to remember. It is absolutely not a rigid corporate spreadsheet that you just fill out and mass email to your team. No way. It is a highly interconnected, human-centric adventure that actively links long-term strategy to the daily, granular actions happening right there on the ground.
Moving right along to Section 3, from commanders to Sherpas. This is a fundamental leadership shift.
Going back to Gudmundsson for a second, he realized that achieving incredibly challenging objectives is, well, it's exactly like climbing a mountain. As a leader, you literally must climb down from the peak and act as a Sherpa, guiding, supporting, and developing your leaders. Think about it. You can plan a climb from the peak all you want, but once you actually start climbing, there's sudden storms, the terrain changes, massive obstacles pop up out of nowhere. Leaders in an organic organization don't just sit in a comfortable boardroom commanding people. They're down there on the ground, helping their teams navigate those totally unpredictable challenges day in and day out.
So, how do we actually do this daily? Section 4, boulders versus small rocks, and how we overcome obstacles.
To act as a Sherpa, Toyota brilliantly divides the labor of problem solving. It's like a giant puzzle. Managers and leaders, they target the big boulders. These are your systemic, cross-departmental obstacles. Think of a major supply chain bottleneck or having to overhaul a horribly outdated software system. They use PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act, to innovate and move those boulders. But what about the frontline workers? Well, they target the small rocks. These are the daily deviations from the standard, like a misplaced tool or a minor machine jam. They use SDCA, Standard, Do, Check, Act. So you have this amazing synergy. Managers clear the big boulders while the front lines actively sweep away the small rocks.
But here's the catch. Without both of these groups working perfectly in tandem, you get the dreaded sawtooth effect. If you just implement some huge strategy from the top, but you lack that daily, relentless SDCA clearing the small rocks at the bottom, sure, you'll see a big initial jump in performance. But trust me, that jump will immediately degrade into a depressing slide the absolute second executive focus shifts to the next shiny object. You have to have that daily frontline management to truly lock in your gains.
Okay, Section 5, playing catchball and really aligning those goals. Now, before we can align those goals and start throwing the ball around, we have to prepare the ground. This introduces a totally vital Toyota concept called nemawashi. It literally translates to going around the roots, like preparing a tree for transplant. In the business world, it means gathering broad input from people with a stake or special knowledge to build consensus before you execute anything. You don't just spring a massive new mandate on people, you prepare the roots. You discuss it, you tweak it, you get everyone on board so that when it is finally time to act, everyone is completely and totally aligned.
Once the roots are prepped, we play catchball. This is such a cool concept.
It's a dynamic, give-and-take exchange of throwing targets and ideas back and forth between different levels of leadership. It's not just passing a rigid order downward. It looks more like this. A manager might say, hey, we need a 10% cost reduction to hit the plant's vision. The frontline team catches the ball, looks at their specific processes, and throws it back saying, okay, we can do 5% by optimizing this specific machine, but hey, we need you to clear this big boulder out of our way first. It ensures that goals are always translated into actionable realities rather than just impossible, frustrating top-down demands.
Let's literally step this down the organizational ladder, going from the macro right down to the micro. Step 1 is the top-level Hoshin. This is your big 3 to 5 year plant vision, usually driven by broad environmental factors. Step 2 drops us down to the shop Hoshin, led by a general manager whose job is to translate that massive vision into specific targets for their department. And finally, Step 3 takes us right to the factory floor, the KPI boards managed by the group leaders. Through the magic of catchball, we've successfully gone from a multi-year vision directly to what needs to happen on today's shift.
And honestly, when we finally reach those group leader KPI boards at the front lines, the sheer genius of the system reveals itself. Because they aren't just tracking massive, uncontrollable outcome goals. No, they track specific, causal sub-KPIs. For example, you can't always control the total number of severe accidents in a given year, but you can track and actively reduce near misses, or you can rigorously monitor posture ergonomics. By focusing on these actionable, daily metrics, the front lines are sweeping away the exact small rocks that directly fulfill that massive top-level vision.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 6, the ultimate learning engine, the true purpose behind Principle 13.
So here's the big takeaway. The ultimate purpose of all this isn't just hitting some arbitrary financial target for Q3. Dictating goals focuses on isolated metrics and forcing output, which, let's be honest, essentially treats human beings like simple machines. Hoshin kanri, on the right side here, is actually about organizational learning. The entire process of catchball, of breaking down massive goals into daily sub-KPIs, it teaches causal reasoning. It literally teaches people how to think scientifically and solve problems continuously at every single level of the company. Hoshin kanri isn't a mere business realization tool. It is absolutely the ultimate engine for continuous organizational learning.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question to ask ourselves about our own workplaces. Are your goals just being handed down from the peak of the iceberg? Or are you actually building an organization of mountain climbers? I really encourage you to take a hard look at how your team sets its objectives. Are you dictating from the top, or are you acting as a Sherpa? I hope this explainer gave you a powerful, fresh framework for thinking about strategy and execution. Thank you so much for joining me, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.